Hey Queen, how you doing?
Hey, hey.
How you doing, Queen?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I was feeling a little drowsy because it was just started raining, but for
Where
some
you
reason
at?
I'm in Durham.
Oh, not too far. I didn't know if
Yeah,
you was in North Carolina. It's probably gonna start raining here too. It's looking a little cloudy.
yeah, it's supposed to be a tropical storm or whatever.
A tropical storm. I don't
Yeah,
like when it rains because you can't do anything. Like unless I'm about to go to sleep, that's good. But
yeah. I'll say sleep, watching a movie, or if I'm riding, I like the sound of the like rain when I'm riding.
yeah, that sounds really relaxing. But everything else, I'm just like, ugh, I don't like the rain.
Yeah, I was feeling, but I feel better now. The sun's kind of back out,
That's
right.
good.
But I'm on campus right now, so
Oh, you are? How
yeah.
is it?
It's pretty good. They're slowly moving people in,
Yeah.
so they're just
I
taking
feel
a lot
that.
of.
I move in next Saturday, but I'm not staying on campus. I'm staying in an apartment, but I'm
Okay,
going back to school. I'm sorry, say that again.
where do you go to?
A&T.
Oh, mm, okay.
Oh, weak.
I guess I can mess with you since you're an author, but since
But at the end of the
that's
day,
HBCU.
exactly. HBCUs, rivalries aside,
Uh
we
huh.
gotta have our HBCU unity, especially North Carolina HBCUs.
For
But
sure,
it's
for sure.
still, A&T. But you know,
I'm a little bougie. I don't know y'all what y'all got going on.
I'm weak.
Without further ado, oh yeah, one quick question: have you seen Black is King?
I have. Okay, I haven't finished it. I
Okay,
started watching it and I did not finish it, but it's
I
very, really good.
it's different. It gives me I haven't finished it either. That's the funny thing.
Yeah.
Um, it's not that it was boring, but I think it was just at a weird time I was watching it.
I get
Um,
overwhelmed watching it. So that's why I have to like stop because this is like so much going on that I'm
yeah,
like, wow, it just makes me want to get up and like do something like productive and like be great and go create a masterpiece. So like when I'm watching it, I'm just like, what can I do? And like I start being like, okay, let me just pause this. I'm about to go do this or do that. And I need to like just sit down and watch it. The same thing happened when I watched Homecoming. I'm like, this woman is amazing. Like every like little small piece that she's able to have them all working together. So like watching Black is King, from like the costuming to the lighting to the
it
artist,
tells.
it's
It's
just so good. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna take it one song at a time. And so I need to finish it.
yeah. Without further ado, I want you to introduce yourself, and what you do, and what you want to do, just to my audience if they're unfamiliar with you.
Yeah, so my name is Ariel Robinson. I am a rising junior multimedia journalism student at North Carolina A&T State University. Along with being a student, I am a mixed media artist and now published author. I am the author of the Modern Day Black Alphabet book, which is a photo book that reimagines the alphabet through intimate Black experiences. Um, like I said, I'm a mixed media artist, so I dabble in a lot of different things, from painting to I just started creating rugs, photography, anything that makes me feel good, I do it. And for the future, I just hope to continue to create and partner and collaborate with, other people. It's really hard though, with everything that's going on, to really like, cultivate those relationships and then also just like making sure you're connecting with the right people. But yeah, that's just a little bit about me.
Okay, I honestly wanted you to say that so I can work on my elevator speech. So I appreciate that.
I'm
You
still working on mine, but I had to say it so many times that I'm starting to like get it
getting the
together. So definitely when I go back to school, hopefully somebody will be able to really like get it down to like what it needs to be, because 6 months ago I would have been still going on, but we're starting to make some progress here.
yeah, yeah, because you want it short and sweet, but at the same time you want to fill in every
Yeah.
I gap of what you are and what you do. So,
Most
but
definitely.
without further ado, this topic I wanted to be about finding you, and finding yourself. And this is a perfect time to do it. It's a pandemic, but
Yeah.
this year has been a perfect time to do it. But I feel like because I'm 19. How old are you?
I'm 19 as well.
Okay. I feel like through 16 through like 25 is like an age where it's just like you're going through trials and tribulations in life, and you
Yeah,
just continue to find yourself and find better versions of yourself.
most
Uh,
definitely.
for me, it took a lot of failure and just a lot of self realization to find myself. But as for you, what did it take to like find who you really are? Because I know you're not at a point where you fully, well, I don't know. Do you fully do you fully understand yourself, or like have
I
you
don't.
you don't?
No, absolutely not. I feel like every day I'm still learning about like what do I like and what works for me. And I think that the first step in finding yourself is just understanding like everything doesn't have to be like you love it or you hate it. You know, like it's okay to try things and realize like there's going to be some times where things are uncomfortable, you know. So I feel like the first step is really just sitting down with yourself and realizing what you like and what you don't like and why you do the things you do. Understanding your why is really, really important, because if you don't know why you're doing something, it won't make any sense to who you are. So like for me, it's just like I ask myself, okay, so why do I create the art that I create? Well, because it makes me happy. So like I like that feeling. And then other people do things why? Because they need money, and that's, you know, that's a valid thing. So I feel like just understanding why we do what we do, and then making those decisions. And then also like for me, I'm like, I don't want to say I'm super religious, but I definitely, you know, I believe in God, Christianity. And so for me, it's always, sometimes it's about letting go as well, like understanding there are things that are out of your control. And so if you do only focus on the things that you know, have control over, and then letting whoever your higher power is take control, that kind of, you'll begin to become the person that you want to be. So that's
Okay.
just how I found am finding myself.
Yeah, I feel like it really takes understanding yourself. And I put it in the live because that's like honestly the first that was the first step for me, just finding who I was and just beginning to understand myself more. It's to really understand yourself, because a lot of things that I've done in the past is unintentional. It was
Mm.
just I was doing it to do it, but when I understood why I was doing it, I kind of understood myself more, and just really meditation and, like you said, praying and just talking to God. But the second step, I feel like it gets to a point where when you do understand yourself,
Mhm.
society plays a role in it, like expressing yourself. Like when you
Yeah.
find yourself, start expressing yourself. For me, it was kind of like maybe I felt. Let me put this like this. I probably felt different about myself because when I really found out like more of myself, yeah, I kind of felt ashamed of like being not ashamed, but like I kind of
No,
felt
it's
awkward.
completely normal to just be like, it's weird, like you're not really proud of it because it's unknown territory. It's like it
Yeah,
that's who you are, but everybody else isn't like that. It's kind of weird, and you're like, okay, well, why am I like this and everybody else is like this, you know? And I
yeah,
just think that I've definitely been through that stage, especially with like creating content and stuff. Like I'm over here creating this stuff. People are like, why she doing all those weird pictures? Why she doing this? Like,
uh,
you know, and then that doesn't make you feel very good, because
it doesn't.
everybody wants to feel liked and loved, you know, even as much as we all want to be independent and be like, we don't care about what other people think, you know, we're human. Other
Fact,
people's opinions matter to a certain extent. And so, like, when you do find yourself and figure out what works for you and it's not like everybody else, it's completely normal to be like, I'm not really proud of this. You have to just, like, get comfortable with who you are.
fact. So being comfortable with who you are. Okay.
Yeah. I think
Okay.
that's like, that's pretty much sums it up, because it's hard. It's easier said than done, but just like making sure that you, once you figure out it's something that makes you happy, you have to really work on your confidence and your self-esteem and just being proud of who who you are and the things that you like and the things that you attract. And then you'll start to attract things that are the same, and you're like, oh
Right.
snap, where was y'all at back in the day? You know?
It's crazy how that works when you start really progressing in your like divine purpose. I say, things will start to attract. Because just even me sending out an email or DMing you to get on live is just I kept seeing your content constantly, and I kept seeing other people repost it. I was like, who the hell keep making this dope ass content? So I was like,
Thank you.
I had to reach out. But I
Yeah,
think
I'm
for
so
me,
glad you did.
I appreciate it. I'm for me, it was like I always been pictured as a class clown because believe it or not, like I'm really chill right now, but I'm really goofy and I'm a class clown. But
Yeah.
it wrote my first book. It was like people like turn their heads like what, like this
They
dude,
like,
like
who did that?
yeah. So it was kind of like it was kind of a weird space for a while, but I
Yeah.
think people just starting to realize what growth really means for a
Yeah.
person. So um, one thing. Do you know the exact moment when you just realized like that you had a creative mindset, or like was it you always had one when you was little, or just now starting to?
So I, from like before I can remember, always wanted to be in the entertainment industry. When I was really young, I like looked up to Beyonce, which I still do. Like Beyonce really is like one of my biggest inspirations.
Uh
And
huh.
I don't ever like really talk about it just because like her whole aura inspires me. But when I was younger, I used to tell people I wanted to be Beyonce when I grow up. Like I thought that Beyonce was a profession, and I always wanted to be in music. I wanted to write music. I wanted to be like on TV, on Disney Channel. Like I loved it. So I went to an arts elementary school, then I went to an art school for a little bit in middle school, and then I went to a regular school. But like I always was like, I want to do it all. Like I love being creative. And it really wasn't until I went to middle school that kind of all went out the window, because I just like lost all of my confidence. People were so mean. I was like, I'm not talented. This is no,
Oh
I'm
yeah,
about to go to regular school. I'm gonna play sports. I'm just gonna, so I kind of took a break
middle
from
school
it.
tough.
You said what?
I said middle school's tough. Yeah.
Middle school is so tough, and I'm looking back and I'm like, wow, those people were really mean to me. But it
Yeah.
wasn't until like my junior year of high school when I started getting into fashion a lot, and just like I started dressing and taking pictures and doing little photo shoots in my room. And that's when I
It's
kind of like
good.
started to tap more back into like my creative side. And then I got to college and I got around all these amazing creatives who were really walking in their purpose. And I'm like, I want to do this. I want to be like them when I grow up. And so that's kind of how I'm like now. So it was winter break 20, it was like January 2019.
Uh huh.
I was creating content every day, posting on my Instagram, barely getting 100 likes. And I had to really sit down with myself. And I was like, this content is going to roll out whether people like it or not. And I had to tell myself that when nobody is watching you, when you think nobody's watching you, there's somebody watching you, have to keep going. And so, like, literally posting it and not getting no likes, nobody is giving me no recognition, I'm thinking I'm snapping. And I'm still very proud of that work. But it's just like I hadn't tapped into my audience yet. The people who
Uh-huh.
needed to see my work, they weren't
They
here
have.
yet. And so I had to keep going. And so I would say I have been a creative since before I can remember. But it wasn't until 2019 that everything that people are seeing now, that's kind of where I like was like, all right, let's buckle down. Let's start doing things because this is something you love. This is something you want to do, and you want people to see it. You got to be consistent with yourself.
For sure. Let me put that. I gotta drop these notes.
Yes. Oh, my
Um.
grandma's here. Hey, grandma.
So another thing, I know you said Beyonce motivated you. What do you think motivates you? Because I know for me, my environment helps me. Like if I'm when I'm
Absolutely.
in college, I'm in my own space, my own zone, and it's a lot of like-minded people like me. Um,
Yeah.
what motivates you?
I would say multiple things motivate me. So, like, of course, my family, because I want to be able to, I want us all to live in luxury. I want us to, be happy. So, definitely just my family, seeing my family's faces every day motivates me. And then I'm also just like inspired by like Beyonce, Tyler the Creator, Demetrius Harmon, Renelle Manjaro, like seeing all these creatives create things in their own space. It inspires me to get off my butt and do the same thing, because when you see people who look like you doing what you want to do, you're like, oh, it makes it more like real and attainable. And so being able to have social media at my fingertips and be able to just go on their page and see what they're doing, it really motivates me. And then also just the simple things of life, like just being able to wake up, having a home, being able to get some groceries, being able to go to church, things that we took for granted before this pandemic. Definitely, I draw a lot of inspiration and motivation from, because those things are like the foundation to
Facts.
everything. And so I feel like you have to have some kind of love for, your foundations.
Facts. Um, what do you
Okay,
think it's
I'm
good to be?
definitely inspired by all those things. I'm
Do you
sorry, say
think?
that again.
I was gonna say, do you think it's okay to be selfish sometimes?
Absolutely. You have to be selfish, because I mean, you can't give to others if you don't have nothing to give. Like, you have to be selfish to a certain extent. You have to be, choosy with your time, with the people that you allow in your space. You only get one life to live, and you have to, cherish that. So I definitely think everybody has to have a selfish bone in their
Fact.
body.
I'm I'm selfish to a certain extent.
Yeah.
I'm well, I'm kind of both, like, because I do love my space to myself, but be around people is like I want to give my love and time to everyone. So,
hmm It's
um,
just find that perfect balance. It's hard, but once you find it, it's so good.
fact. Um, a good question for you. Where do you see yourself in the future? Like, where do you envision yourself?
So I am one of those people that lives like day by day, spontaneous. Like, when I do stuff, like, I mean, I plan ahead like a little bit, but like, I'm pretty spontaneous. But I definitely see myself, like, my one of my goals is I want to move to LA so bad. Even if it's not LA, but like maybe the outskirts of California. I'm trying to be on the west side, on the west coast.
Uh huh.
And then I just see myself being successful. I don't know what that success entails. I don't know exactly what it's gonna be, but I see myself being successful, having resources that I'm able, to share with others. I'm just one of those people where I know a lot of people have like very, very specific goals, but like, I'm not in control of everything that's gonna happen to me
I,
or around me. So like, just being pretty vague and just saying like, I'm gonna be successful, I'm gonna be happy, and not knowing how those things are gonna happen, but understanding that is gonna be for me, and then just speaking it over my life. That's kind of where I see myself at, is on the West Coast, successful.
LA.
You said what?
Have you been to LA?
I have not. I have not been to the West Coast. The most west that I've ever been is Detroit, and that's not the West Coast at all. But hopefully after this pandemic, I can get me a round trip there, because I want to go so bad.
I went in December, and I can't stop thinking about it. Honestly,
Really? Oh,
uh,
I'm jealous.
nah, I have a little bit of family out there, and
That's
when I
so
went
good.
there, it's just like sometimes you can feel energy, like
Yeah,
the
most definitely.
is so different. Like it's just everybody. Honestly, everybody's having a good time, even though some people may be struggling. They're so optimistic and just so
That's
and
so good.
but it's great. It's gonna be funny too because you're just gonna see a lot of stuff like what did I just? But yeah, definitely you should. That's a great trip you should make. It was one thing you was and I can't remember because it was so much keys you was just dropping. So I'm trying to
I
find which.
know, I was talking a lot.
No, it was great. It was great. It was great. I think it was when you were saying um it'll come back to me. It'll come back to me
Yeah.
because I do want to rebuttal on that. It'll come back to me. Um. Lastly, I think my last question for you. Uh, what's advice you can give someone that's trying to find their self and creative self? Um, and I feel like, um, for me, it would be not really giving a fuck. Excuse my language of what other
Hey,
people.
it's good that you
Think.
gotta do it.
But I feel like that's for me. That's what it is. But what do you think it is?
I would just say, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Your every life is not gonna go exactly how you want it. And so you
Uh,
have to be able to light on your feet, almost as if you were like playing sports, or like if
mhm.
you're, playing basketball, you got to be light on your feet. You got to be able to react to whatever going on, because you might think that what play y'all about to run this play. You might think, oh, they're gonna go here, they're gonna go here, and then something else happens. You got to be light on your feet. And then
Uh-huh.
I just think that you have to understand that you have to have more than one like thing. Like you have to have more than one apple in your basket. And I feel like that's the exact opposite of what a lot of people say, because a lot of people like find what you like to do, be good at it, do it for the next 50 years and you'll be good. No, like we are very dynamic, multidimensional beings, and it is perfectly okay with moving in seasons. I personally I move in seasons. So this season I might be over here, I may have this business and I might be working. The next season I'm like, we're gonna focus on music, and it's okay to want to
Yeah.
change, and your interests are going to change. And I feel like that just comes along with being comfortable with being uncomfortable, knowing that you're going to move through unknown territory, but just welcoming it, even if it doesn't feel good. Because, with my recent success, which, I still have a long way to go, but like I've never had this many people looking at me, that are looking at my work. And there are
Uh-huh.
so many times where like I'm getting all this, people are liking it and sharing it, and I'm getting all these people, and I feel gross. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, what do I do? Because I feel uncomfortable. I never experienced this, but you have
Uh-huh.
to welcome
Embrace it.
that. You have to embrace it. Exactly. You have to embrace that uncomfortability and keep going, And if you fall on your face, that's okay. It is completely okay to fall on your face. Like, I failed so many times. Like, I've had businesses, I ain't make no money at all. Like, I post my pictures, I don't put all this work, nobody likes it, and that's okay. You know, it's completely okay as long as you're happy with yourself. Things will come, everything will come together. You just have to do what you know how to do and
Uh-huh.
just keep going.
Yeah, I like how you said with those different seasons in life, and I feel like it's different phases, but it's just the transition to the different phase. That's where it gets scary because it's
It
like,
gets so scared because you don't know.
right, and you don't know. But I think the best thing to life, I like how you said you take it day by day. The best thing is mystery. Life is a mystery. So, uh,
Absolutely.
it creates. I can't find the word for it, so I'm probably gonna have to get my dictionary out. But
Period. Going to the
it
dictionary.
it creates this void where you just don't know. But I feel like once you tap deeper into yourself, it,
Hmm.
it just comes out honestly. Then you know what's good, newbie. I gotta talk to you later. Um, but yeah, you in that moment when you're really looking deep into yourself, you just find that next phase and find you. And I,
Absolutely.
them transitions, it's okay to say no to something that was
Yes. Oh, say that again. It is okay to say no.
because I think a lot of times it's like we're accepting so much stuff. Um,
Yeah.
but if it's not for you, it's not for you. And I feel like it's okay to say no sometimes. I know it was a lot of times I'm in a situation where it's just like the world or the people that I know expects me to be on this path, um or just the group I'm in feels like I'm going in this direction, but I may have a different feeling and change the direction. Yeah, appreciate it. Change the direction.
Absolutely.
Um, I sometimes I just have to say no and just go with me, and it's what's best for me. So,
I
um,
wholeheartedly agree, because there's so many times like I do not do like client work. So like I don't do like, small commissions where people ask me to do like little small projects. I do like personal projects and like large scale projects. And a
uh,
lot of people, they're not used to that. They're not used to an artist saying like, hey, I actually don't do that kind of work. I do like more of the fine arts route. And so there's so many times where I have to say no, and people are like, you're missing out on money, or you're doing this. But it's like, when you are doing what makes you happy,
uh-huh.
you have to say no, and that's okay. And sometimes people are going to be a little bit upset with you, but at the end of the day, you're going to be happy with yourself because you're not forcing yourself to do something that you do not have to do. Now there are times where we have to be like, okay, I gotta buckle down, I gotta do this even though I don't want to do it, because it's like, it's a stepping stone. But if that, I'm so glad you like spoke on that, because no is a big word. And I feel like a lot of times for people who are authors or creators or people who are creating things for like consumption of others, sometimes
Facts.
people feel this entitlement over your work because you're creating for them. And sometimes they don't realize that you're a person too and that you are in control of what you're creating. So I definitely think that the word no is just as big as the word yes.
Right, right. They both have equal power to each other.
Absolutely.
But I think for me, honestly, I think that's all. Like honestly,